chapters 31 through 44 of Sonnets from the Portuguese by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Sam Stinson. Chapter 31. Thou comest! All is said without a word. I sit beneath thy looks, as children do in the noon sun, with souls that tremble through their happy eyelids from an unaverred yet prodigal inward joy. Behold, I erred in that last doubt, and yet I cannot rue the sin most, but the occasion that we two should for a moment stand unministered by a mutual presence. Ah, keep near and close, thou dove-like help, and when my fears would rise, with thy broad heart serenely interpose, brood down with thy divine sufficiencies these thoughts which tremble when bereft of those, like callow birds left desert to the skies. End of chapter 31. Chapter 32. The first time that the sun rose on thine oath to love me, I looked forward to the moon to slacken all those bonds which seemed too soon and quickly tied to make a lasting troth. Quick-loving hearts, I thought, may quickly loathe. And, looking on myself, I seemed not one for such man's love, more like an out-of-tune worn viol, a good singer would be wroth to spoil his song with, and which, snatched in haste, is laid down at the first ill-sounding note. I did not wrong myself so, but I placed a wrong on thee, for perfect strains may float 'neath master hands, from instruments defaced, and great souls at one stroke may do and dote. End of chapter 32. Chapter 33. Yes, call me by my pet name. Let me hear the name I used to run at, when a child, from innocent play, and leave the cow-lips plied, to glance up in some face that proved me dear with the look of its eyes. I miss the clear, fond voices, which, being drawn and reconciled into the music of heavens undefiled. Call me no longer. Silence on the bier, while I call God. Call God, so let thy mouth be air to those who are now exanimate. Gather the north flowers to complete the south, and catch the early love up in the late. Yes, call me by that name, and I, in truth, with the same heart, will answer and not wait. End of chapter 33. Chapter 34. With the same heart, I said, I'll answer thee as those, when thou shalt call me by my name. Lo, the vain promise is the same, perplexed and ruffled by life's strategy. When called before, I told how hastily I dropped my flowers, or brake off from a game, to run and answer with the smile that came at play last moment, and went on with me through my obedience. When I answer now, I drop a grave thought, break from solitude, yet still my heart goes to thee. Ponder how, not as to a single good, but all my good. Lay thy hand on it, best one, and allow that no child's foot could run fast as this blood. End of chapter 34. Chapter 35. If I leave all for thee, wilt thou exchange and be all to me? Shall I never miss home talk, and blessing, and the common kiss that comes to each in turn, nor count it strange, when I look up, to drop on a new range of walls and floors another home than this? Nay, wilt thou fill that place by me which is filled by dead eyes too tender to know change that's hardest? If to conquer love has tried to conquer grief, tries more, as all things prove, for grief indeed is love, and grief beside. Alas, I have grieved so I am hard to love. Yet love me, wilt thou? Open thy heart wide, and fold within, the wet wings of thy dove. End of chapter 35. Chapter 36. When we met first and loved, I did not build upon the event with marble. Could it mean to last, a love set pendulous between sorrow and sorrow? Nay, I rather thrilled, distrusting every light that seemed to gild the onward path, and feared to overlean a finger even. And though I have grown serene and strong since then, I think that God has willed a still renewable fear. O love, O troth, lest these enclasped hands should never hold, this mutual kiss drop down between us both as an unowned thing, once the lips being cold, and love be false, if he, to keep one oath, must lose one joy by his life's star foretold. End of chapter 36. Chapter 37. Pardon, oh, pardon, that my soul should make of all that strong divineness, which I know for thine and thee, an image only so formed of the sand, and fit to shift and break. It is that distant years which did not take thy sovereignty, recoiling with a blow, have forced my swimming brain to undergo their doubt and dread, and blindly to forsake thy purity of likeness, and distort thy worthiest love to a worthless counterfeit, as if a shipwrecked pagan, safe in port, his guardian sea-god to commemorate, should set a sculptured porpoise, gills, a snort, and vibrant tail within the temple gate. End of chapter 37. Chapter 38. First time he kissed me, he but only kissed the fingers of this hand wherewith I write, and ever since it grew more clean and white, slow to world greetings, quick with its "O list" when the angels speak. A ring of amethyst I could not wear here, plainer to my sight than that first kiss. The second passed in height the first, and sought the forehead, and half missed, half falling on the hair. O beyond meed! That was the chrism of love, which love's own crown, with sanctifying sweetness, did precede. The third upon my lips was folded down in perfect purple state. Since when, indeed, I have been proud and said, my love, my own. End of chapter 38. Chapter 39. Because thou hast the power and own'st the grace to look through and behind this mask of me, against which years have beat thus blanchingly with their reins, and behold my soul's true face, the dim and weary witness of life's race, because thou hast the faith and love to see, through that same soul's distracting lethargy, the patient angel waiting for a place in the new heavens, because nor sin nor woe, nor God's infliction, nor death's neighborhood, nor all which others viewing turn to go, nor all which makes me tired of all self-viewed, nothing repels thee. Dearest, teach me so to pour out gratitude as thou dost good. End of chapter 39. Chapter 40. Oh, yes, they love through all this world of ours. I will not gainsay love, called love forsooth. I have heard love talked in my early youth, and since, not so long back but that the flowers then gathered smell still. Mussulmans and Giaours throw kerchiefs at a smile, and have no ruth for any weeping. Polypheme's white tooth slips on the nut if, after frequent showers, the shell is over smooth, and not so much will turn the thing called love aside to hate, or else to oblivion. But thou art not such a lover, my beloved. Thou canst wait through sorrow and sickness to bring souls to touch, and think it soon when others cry too late. End of chapter 40. Chapter 41. I thank all who have loved me in their hearts, with thanks and love from mine. Deep thanks to all who paused a little near the prison wall to hear my music in its louder parts, ere they went onward, each one to the mart's or temple's occupation, beyond call. But thou, who, in my voice's sink and fall, when the sob took it, thy divinest art's own instrument didst drop down at thy foot, to hearken what I said between my tears, instruct me how to thank thee. Oh, to shoot my soul's full meaning into future years, that they should lend it utterance, and salute love that endures from life that disappears. End of chapter 41. Chapter 42. My future will not copy fair my past. I wrote that once, and thinking at my side my ministering life-angel justified the word by his appealing look upcast to the white throne of God, I turned at last, and there instead saw thee, not unallied to angels in thy soul. Then I, long tried by natural ills, received the comfort fast, while budding, at thy sight my pilgrim staff gave out green leaves with morning dews impearled. I seek no copy now of life's first half. Leave here the pages with long musing curled, and write me new my future's epigraph, new angel mine, unhoped for in the world. End of chapter 42. Chapter 43. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach, when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely, as men strive for right. I love thee purely, as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs, and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seemed to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and, if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. End of chapter 43. Chapter 44. Beloved, thou hast brought me many flowers plucked in the garden, all the summer through, and winter, and it seemed as if they grew in this close room, nor missed the sun and showers. So, in the like name of that love of ours, take back these thoughts, which here unfolded too, and which on warm and cold days I withdrew from my heart's ground. Indeed, those beds and bowers be overgrown with bitter weeds and rue, and wait thy weeding. Yet here's eglantine, here's ivy, take them, as I used to do thy flowers, and keep them where they shall not pine. Instruct thine eyes to keep their colours true, and tell thy soul their roots are left in mine. End of chapter 44, and also the end of Sonnets from the Portuguese by Elizabeth Barrett Browning.